I think that's quite enough. Well, hello and welcome to this Tuesday's movie news. I am Jonathan Walsh, C. Walsh, back to discuss more movie news from the world of Hollywood. Not further afield today, just Hollywood I'm sticking to because I daren't overexert myself as I desperately look down at these macros on my little nifty Stream Deck app and try and make sure that when I come back to this screen at some non-distinct point in the next 10 minutes that I don't get the intro again. But here, if you've clicked on it, you will know what the headline is. It's all about Andor. Cassian Andor, Diego Luna, two stories combined to make one headline. And of course, the primary story is the reviews dropping for Andor. They are out. People are discussing the artistic merit of this TV show. And as a little aside to that, we also have the small matter of Diego Luna, who plays, of course, the titular Cassian Andor in this TV show, confirming that he's going to be off to pastures new. He will not be doing any more Star Wars affiliated roles post Andor. But I'm going to get right into it, man. This is what I do when we sort of cover reviews. We, of course, are not privileged enough to actually get in and get a slice of the pie, if you like, in terms of watching these TV shows in advance. We don't get screener versions, so we don't get to actually fucking review it. So, like all the other Plevingtons who I'm sure have been out and about and reading, people who are interested in this show, that is, which is probably a niche group within an even nicher group, they'll be looking to see what the general consensus is from the critiques. Now, of course, you always take this, and I say this every time I discuss reviews about anything, be it a movie, a TV show, you take what these people say with an enormous pinch of salt, which is an oxymoron because enormous and a pinch don't go together. Pinch is a small thing, enormous is a very big fucking thing, but you take what these people say with a pinch of salt, because 9 times out of 10, if they are being gave screener editions of this or have been allowed access to a premiere to actually watch a big blockbuster movie, there is an ulterior motive afoot. They want to continue to have that access, and they daren't destroy the actual fucking thing they are reviewing too harshly, or they will be rescinded said access. But look, man, I'm going to do it anyway. You will get a general consensus from what they're feeling. And to be fair, I think I went on to Rotten Tomatoes and checked the actual score. It's 180 odd reviews, and it's sitting in the high 80s just now, which is decent for a Disney era Star Wars project. High 80s means it's a pretty excellent production. And to be fair, I don't think they're telling porcupines. That's perhaps a little bit of Cockney actual rhyming slang. I don't know if it is for lies. And just in case you don't know what I'm fucking saying and you're from a part of the world who's not aware of porcupines, I don't think they're telling lies, because the vibes I got, and Stephen as well got from the trailer, plural, when we reacted to them, was that of pure Star Wars goodness. It felt like we were going back to the original trilogy. It felt like proper Star Wars, just like Rogue One, which to this day for me is the best Disney Star Wars project. It just felt weathered, gritty, lived in. It felt like proper Star Wars. So if we can continue that, just half a percentage will do, man, of that continuing on. That doesn't even make fucking sense. 50% of that continuing on in this actual TV show at a larger scale, outside the confines of a 2-minute fucking trailer. If we can continue it, we're on to a good one. I think we really are. Certainly better than Book of Boba Fett. But as you can see here, I like what they've done here on Rotten Tomatoes. They've gave us little sub-compartmentalised reviews on different aspects of this TV show. The first one, how does it fit into the grander Star Wars TV universe? Now, I don't expect it to fit in hugely well with the grander Star Wars TV universe, considering most of the content that has been released relating to Star Wars TV medium, live action, has taken place in a completely different era between the events of Return of the Jedi and The Force Awakens. This takes place prior to A New Hope, so this is set fucking 30 years prior to some of the stuff we're actually watching, or 15 years, something like that anyway. I don't actually know the fucking timescales, maybe not as much as that, but it's set, it's a prequel, so it shouldn't really connect, but we'll see what some of the critiques, and I use that with a sort of quote unquote, because Pace Magazine is not one I have ever fucking heard of. US Today I have heard of. Mama's Geeky. Stephen Kelly of BBC.com. Well, let's see if we can trust Stephen Kelly of BBC.com, because the BBC have went down in my estimations in the last few years. It became a party political broadcast for the Tory party, and that's not a good thing. If you're on the right side of the political divide, it isn't. But anyway, that aside, we'll read Terry Tyrone's because he's got a cool fucking name, and I'm intrigued to see just how good Pace Magazine can be in terms of written English. He said this: the journey from Ruffian to Rebel leads to a layered thriller that makes show creator Tony Gilroy's new series a unique and addictive look at yet another fascinating aspect of growing Star Wars universe. I'm going to cough a lot, incidentally. I've got some viral thing affecting me, so I do apologise about that. Get on, Kerry. No, we'll ditch US Today. I'm not going to read that because I get the feeling that's another right-wing fucking programme. We'll completely ignore her. And we'll go to Tessa Smith of Mama's Geeky, because I'm just intrigued to see how this does it connect in, because it all connects really. It's all part of the grander sort of battles, if you like, the war that's waged, this never-ending sort of conflict between the good and the bad, the dark and the light, in the Star Wars Skywalker saga. And this is what Tessa had to say, a very beige name, Tessa Smith. Peak Star Wars, complete with epic action sequences. That's a good thing for me, because some of the issues I've had, of course I'm talking shit, because when I say most of it's taking place in that era, you think of Obi-Wan. That was a prequel. That took place in this, but I don't expect that to connect to Obi-Wan in any way, shape nor form. But the action in Obi-Wan, it felt small, it felt artificial, because it was shot in the volume technology they utilise over at Disney to envelop the audience, the actors in the universe they are acting within. You've got spaces at a premium in that setup, and the Leia chase sequences felt shit to me. And of course you go to The Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett, there is other moments where the chases, the action sequences they feel like EastEnders meets Star Wars. It's one of the few things I nitpick against even the good Star Wars content that's been on Disney Plus. So if she's saying here that these sequences feel epic, that's a fucking good thing. She's going on to say, an adorable new droid to fall in love with. Fuck's sake, how many droids have we got now? It's almost like they feel it's necessary to have a droid sidekick. I mean, I think of Andor, and it concerns me they're saying new droid to fall in love with. I was just assuming K2SO would be in there. Alan Tudyk. So that worries me a bit. And truly high stakes feel, even though we all know how things end up. Well, that's the issue with prequels, isn't it? If you're going to make a prequel story and you already know the outcome of a character, it means it lacks stakes for that character, but it doesn't necessarily mean the actual story lacks stakes, because if they give us a compelling story with other characters whose fate we don't know, then you can bond through them and vicariously sort of live the story through them, whilst knowing that your man Andor is good as gold. So, and look, it adds poignancy as well, doesn't it? If you know how the character's ending, it's a tragic, sombre ending, and you get to see him in his prime, it can enrich it and make it all the better. Stephen Kelly, compared to other Star Wars shows, it's a slower, more granular beast, more concerned with talks of space politics over dinner rather than the swishing of lightsabers. That's absolutely fine. We've had enough lightsabers in Star Wars. Lord knows we've all been calling, Star Wars fans that is, for more boots in the ground, gritty, different storytelling in this universe. Something that isn't full of mythos and space wizards. It's full of regular folk on the ground living a dark, grimy existence. And incidentally, my fucking phone's about to cut out. That's not good, because I'm controlling the whole fucking stream through it. If I get back to this, and I'm going to try and do it right, they call it gritty, grounded and relatable. So it's something I expected to see in one of these reviews. More of gritty, grounded and relatable. We've not seen it yet, so I'm intrigued to see when that actually fucking pops up, because I have put it in the graphic. And if it isn't there, then that's just fucking false advertising. How does Diego Luna perform? This is the next little compartmentalised reviewing extravaganza that Rotten Tomatoes are giving us. This time I'm going to read Kelly Lawler because hers is short and succinct, and that's a good thing when your throat is in the state mine's is in. She says this: Lunar is immensely appealing, as he was in Rogue One, creating likeability and vulnerability in Andor, even though he makes many mistakes. But that's what makes the character all the more endearing. He's not perfect, he's not a Mary Sue or a Mary Sam, whatever the fuck you want to call a male version. He is a human character with flaws, imperfections. That's what we're all like. No one is perfect. Be it in their looks, be it in actual personality, be it in their actions in day-to-day life. We all make mistakes. That's what shapes us and makes us human. And makes us relatable to people out there, like me and you, who make mistakes as well. That's why Rey as a character and some of the other characters that have popped up in these sequel trilogy, not relatable, because they don't make fucking mistakes. Or very rarely make mistakes. Caroline Seed, I don't know how the fuck you say that, Fox 10 has said this: the always captivating Luna slips back into the role of Cassian like a second skin, all in a turmoil buried under a broodingly charming exterior. That's what I want to hear. He was holding his own alongside Mads Mikkelsen and obviously Felicity Jones. I think that was her name. I may be wrong. She's an Oscar winner. I think she was an Oscar winner. Nominated, maybe not an Oscar winner. High class, high calibre cast we got in Rogue One, and he held his own. He's one of the more compelling characters. He gave us that rousing monologue to the Jyn Erso character, basically told her, I've lived this life since I was 7. I've seen good people dying. We have to make decisions sometimes that make us feel uncomfortable, that we don't like. That was a side to the rebellion we hadn't seen up until that moment. It was all good v bad, dark and light. That's not life. There is no fucking dark and light. Most of us live in the grey. Morally ambiguous at times. Even your fucking saints will have had their little darkness, their pockets of it. I'm looking at you, Mother Teresa. I bet you had some fucking evil streaks in you as well. I know she's dead and she's a saint, but and she may not have. So I'll rescind that immediately. I don't know how the fuck Mother Teresa came in to a conversation about Cassie and Andor, but that's me, that's what I do, and that's my brain when I'm not feeling 100%. I'm going to move on. I expect Diego to deliver a performance. That's why they gave him his own TV show. He's a great actor, and he made the character his own. It was a compelling performance without reciting the same shit I said before, and that's ultimately why he's got his own show. He's leading it. So they've got confidence in him, I've got confidence in him, and it looks as though the reviews are pretty reciprocal in that confidence. They seem to be enjoying what he's gave to us. This next bit, and I'm not going to overstay my welcome here, I have got other topics to speak about, but I'm going to just do a couple more. What about the rest of the cast? Stellan Skarsgård, I believe's in there, and he's always good. Stephen Kelly again, they're really hitting home the BBC here. I never realised the BBC were ones for being prominent in film and TV reviews, but I'm learning something new tonight. He said this: Skarsgård, his full voice of glass and gravel, his grandeur and gravitas undeniable. He's just the jump start the show needs, and his arrival is followed by some much needed action. He does look good. He's a man of many words in the trailer, and when you bring an actor like that onto the set of any project, but a fucking Star Wars project, something that's always been synonymous with Star Wars. Stephen was talking about it, maybe even been last night, where Star Wars has traditionally gave us more unknown actors in the leading roles, but they've gave you a steady veteran in a prominent role who comes in and leaves an indelible touch, who delivers something special at the right moment. That's something I like to see happening and continuing even into the TV projects. We've seen it with The Mandalorian. You've got Pedro Pascal, he's a brilliant actor, but he's under a fucking helmet. So what do? You bring in the likes of Giancarlo Esposito, stupendous actor. He pops in and out and leaves an indelible touch, leaves you wanting more. That's what I like to see, and I'm glad to. And obviously you speak of the aforementioned Rogue One, Mads Mikkelsen in there, Ben Mendelsohn in there, fucking Grand Moff Tarkin's Peter Cushing's sort of fucking ghostly other real form, CGI form in there as well, played by some person called Guy, whose name I never remember. and it doesn't matter. Dan Feinberg had this to say about the rest, the best of the rest. Solar, Broadway's The Inheritance, has given easily my favourite performance in these first 2 episodes. This is only the first 2 episodes to review, and I thought it was the entire fucking show. I'm pretty sure I read there was 2 or 3 episodes going out initially. So this is the first 2 they're reviewing, so we're not really getting a full sense of this show then, because this is a multi-season, I think a 24 episode, because I've read that in the other article. This is a fucking quite a hefty show that Disney are giving us with this character. So we're not even getting a sense of the first season here of this character. And there is 2 seasons, I'm pretty fucking sure there is. It may even be uneven, the amount of episodes that we're getting. I'm sure I watched Christian Harloff speak about this, a guy who knows his fucking stuff when it comes to Star Wars. Sometimes throws a tantrum because he doesn't get what he wants in terms of stuff relating to Star Wars, but that's neither here nor there. This is what I had to say. Playing a character who's making choices between weakness and evil. I'm expecting a lot of knee-jerk, he sucks, I hate him responses. Oh, absolutely. You tend to find that, especially if the character in question isn't white. They go after it and they dislike it just because. How's the production value? This is one I expect to see being praised. This TV show looks and feels like a fucking movie. It feels like it belongs on the silver screen. It's on Disney Plus and can be consumed on fucking phones. But it certainly feels like it belongs with the other big bombastic Star Wars projects. So I expect them to be praising this aspect. I'm not going to overstay my fucking welcome here. I really aren't. I feel like I'm dragging too long. I'm giving too much to this. This is we're 19 minutes deep into this fucking show, and I never intended for it to be a long show because I'm toiling a bit, and my dog's desperate to get out for a walk. So I'm going to just linger a little bit longer. Production value is by far the best Star Wars has looked on TV. I expected that, albeit with the caveat that it is still no match for the lavishness of a Star Wars movie. That I didn't expect, but perhaps to be expected, because it is a TV show and there's only so much you can do scaling wise with TV shows. These movies are like fucking mini cities. We've seen Kevin Smith speak about this, so it's hard to reenact that with a TV show. Fred Topo, United Press International, had this to say: the locations of Andor look more aesthetically pleasing but retain the noirish aesthetic within the Star Wars universe. That's what we want. We want that sort of grittiness, that weathered, lived-in vibe. That's what makes Star Wars, and it's why the prequels had so much of a backlash, because it was too clean. It was too, I don't know, clinical. And the best attempts to explain it off didn't really work with the fandom. They'd grown accustomed to big, shiny buttons of the 80s and the 70s, and just minimalistic sets. I mean, you had these big fucking white walls, and I know obviously the Tantive 4 had that in the original, but when the sets, the fucking stuff was too nice. It was too new in the prequels, so I'm glad to see they've tapped into that for this TV show as well. Pacing, story, this is also an important aspect, probably the single most important aspect of reviewing here. The actual pacing and story, if it's not captivating, it's not correctly paced, it's going to take you out. You're not going to enjoy it. You're going to step the fuck away, and quickly. So I'm going to tap into a couple of these. I'm going to ditch the final thoughts, because I don't actually want to know their final thoughts, and I'm going to go off and speak about Diego Luna briefly, sharing his thoughts on leaving Star Wars for the last time, because this is his last role, as it should be, because the character's fucking dead. Spoiler alert if you have not seen Rogue One, but you really should have. It's fucking 6 years old. Story and pacing, we'll go to Caroline Framke, Variety, because Variety is a big fucking publication and usually respected in terms of views on film and TV. She had this to say: the show's not in much of a hurry. The first 3 episodes dropping together really are of a piece. That's much like The Lord of the Rings of Power. Not in a hurry, massive blowback, people wetting their pants to kick it. Anyway, didn't really bother me, and I think it'll be the same here. It's long form storytelling. We're marinating with this character. But I digress. Caroline continues, and that might lose at some shorter attention spans, which is a lot of fucking people these days. The TikTok generation ain't sticking around for anything if it doesn't grab them within 15 fucking seconds of the titles dropping. And that's fair enough. Different strokes for different folks. Those who stick around, though, will be rewarded for their patience. And that's nice to hear. As someone who's a fan of Ari Aster and of sort of slow burn, drip fed storytelling, as well as your big bombastic freneticism you'd get in like an Indiana Jones movie, and even the original Star Wars stuff, balls to the wall, very quick paced, that does warm my cockles. I want to see different kinds of stories being explored, and this is a character who deserves to be marinated with. You deserve to see what makes this guy tick. That's the whole point of fucking making this TV show. Anyway, Bell and Edwards, Mashable. Andor's slower than slow burn trajectory puts a major dampener on what could have been a promising start. I mean, again, different strokes for different folks. Do I read the final thoughts? Maybe one. IndieWire. A quarter of the way into season 1, Andor has established itself as the most deeply felt Star Wars series yet, and that's worth holding on to. That's what we want here. The character himself, huge emotional connection to the fandom, off of the, a 2.5 hour movie. Just the way he used the screen time, the actor, the way the character was utilised in the story. This battle-hardened, gritty warrior of the rebellion doing what has to be done, killing his own guys to save this secret, top secret operation, try to obtain these sort of plans, the weakness in the Death Star. That was all revealed in that Rogue One movie, but you also had that more innocent, humanistic side to him. You could pierce through that sort of hardened armour, and you get a sense that there was something real in there, something human in there, and you get that at the end when he's holding hands with Jyn Erso. You get that at the end, and also you want to tap into that in the TV show. You want to tap into both sides of this guy. You want it to be an emotionally taxing experience, but you also want the fucking grime and the grit and the death. So I hope that they really do a good job of balancing that and really pushing this stupendous actor Diego Luna. I'm really looking forward to this TV show. I'm glad to see in the main positive reviews coming out. Again though, pinch of salt. Take it with a pinch of salt, because these guys are usually for the fucking watching. It could be really fucking good, they could be right, or it could be really fucking average and they could be wrong. You will never really know until you watch it yourself. And I will. I'm looking forward to it. But look man, Diego's been out, as I did say. It's going to be his last time in a Star Wars role, this TV show. I don't know if they're finished with this TV show. I don't know if this is actually completed and they're just splitting it into, again, I don't know if we're fucking, it is 12 episode second season, and it's a 12 episode first season as well, so I was talking shit. So we're getting 2 seasons. I don't know, are they done with this? I don't know man, but it's his last time anyway performing within the Star Wars galaxy, and he had this to say. This is what I had to say here. He was in the interview with Entertainment Weekly, and he confirmed the portrayal as the titular rebel spy in the new Star Wars show Andor will be his last outing as the character. He called the upcoming journey as Cassian beautiful, but he says this is it. His time in the vast Star Wars universe is done. You say vast, but it really isn't that vast. It's very fucking small, and Disney don't seem to be under any sort of hurry to expand it out. It should be vast, but it really isn't, and it's one of my big bugbears with Star Wars. Step the fuck away from the Skywalkers, step the fuck away from Tatooine, step the fuck away from Jakku, make this universe bigger. Give us new interesting stories in different worlds with new characters. But for the time being, I'll happily accept Diego Luna's Cassian Andor within the same time zone, within the same time period, playing a character we already fucking know. That's absolutely fine, for all the reasons I mentioned, for the last 20 fucking minutes that I'm not going to mention again. This is what I had to say though. For me, this is it. It's a beautiful journey now that I have 24 episodes, 24 shorter films to tell the story of where Cassian comes from and how he got to be the man we met in Rogue One. It's very short and sweet. I don't believe there's any other quotes from Diego, but he hits the nail on the head. That's why they brought him in. That's why this is such a compelling TV show for a load of Star Wars fans. He was an interesting character. I'm not going to repeat myself, but it's discovering how he got to where he was by the events of Rogue One that makes it such a compelling watch. Are we going to track this guy from a young man up to where he is, this grizzled sort of battle-hardened rebel soldier. I sincerely hope we fucking do. It's one of the aspects I'm looking for. And at the end of the day, I expect this to be a fucking really, really good TV show. I expect this to be a fitting conclusion to his time with Star Wars. And he's one of the few actors who's been involved with Star Wars, and I include with George Lucas, who can actually walk out, if this is fucking as good as I think it's going to be, with his head held high. There's not many. You think of the prequels, Ian McDiarmid, Ewan McGregor, Christopher Lee can always hold his head high, even in death he can hold his head high. Is that a thing? I don't know. I'd say Natalie Portman can hold her head up after the prequels. The originals, I mean, realistically, it's the OG. Probably your man that voiced Yoda. And Alec Guinness. There's not many actors who came out of these entire sort of sagas worth of movies that can actually step away and say, you know what, yeah, we did something good there. Because we've got a lot of fucking movies, man. We've got, 15 movies now connected to this Star Wars brand. And there's not many came out of it with their head up. I can't even fucking speak. Heads held up. This is what happens when you're not well and you do live shows. Cassian Andor, I'm hoping it's very fucking good, and I'm hoping Diego goes out with a bang. He deserves it. The character's great. He's great. Looking forward to it. Moving on though to another Star Wars topic, and it's about Rogue Squadron. It's about Patty Jenkins. It's about Disney removing the movie from their release schedule. They have removed this movie from the slate, to quote Partridge, put it on the slate. And this isn't a surprise to me, man. Patty's not in a great place just now in terms of reputation, in terms of maybe our esteem in Hollywood. After Wonder Woman 1984, it wasn't a great movie. She was riding the crest of a wave up to that movie. Obviously, it got released, she got this gig. I was excited for it because it's Rogue Squadron, and as I said before regarding Andor, I want to see more boots on the ground, ordinary folk within this galaxy being explored. And the concept of taking a sort of military movie with the camaraderie, I envisage this as like a fucking Band of Brothers meets Top Gun. I've just seen something floating in front of me. That's concerning. It's a hair. That's alright. I envisage this as a sort of Top Gun meets Band of Brothers kind of thing. Camaraderie, high octane action, war kind of movie. Not really seen that aside from Rogue One, funnily enough, done in Star Wars ever. Was that something Patty Jenkins could deliver? She certainly came from a military background. I think her father was a fucking fighter jet pilot. So she lived it. She lived the sort of military life, much like Mark Hamill did, funnily enough, hopping around. So I would be inclined to say she probably could deliver this idea, at least as a concept. It's in terms of a director, is she where she wants to be just now to give us another big blockbuster? It's Taika Waititi where he wants to be to give us the next Star Wars movie after Thor Love and Thunder. Only fucking time will tell with Taika. It looks as though Patty might not even get the fucking chance, because they have removed it from the schedule. As you can see here, and despite other projects in development, there is 0 Star Wars movies included in the slew. I love that word. Just connected with movies, that slew. You never hear that used in any other context. Included in the slew of release dates announced from the studio. Among them, Pixar's Elio. We don't really care about this. Inside Out 2. That's weird. How's that going to work? Fuck knows. Lion King. Barry Jenkins getting the Lion King prequel. Taika Waititi's next goal wins is fucking coming out. Speaking of Taika. But no Star Wars movies. And no Rogue Squadron. And that brings me to this. This is why I was going to discuss it. Rogue Squadron proves Disney hasn't fixed its biggest Star Wars problem. And its biggest problem is haphazard announcements, haphazard approaching to the running of Lucasfilm, producing, just being a president. I'm looking at you, Kathleen Kennedy, brilliant producer, shit president. Making announcements, bringing in directors who don't really jive with what they're wanting from the movies, the projects, and then unceremoniously fucking sacking them. Or in Taika Waititi, I keep saying Taika, I'm obsessed with Taika tonight. In Ryan Johnson and Patty Jenkins' case, announcing movies, announcing a fucking trilogy. and then just it gets stuck in developmental limbo for the rest of time, never to be seen again. It's just a bit of a shambles. And look, this is something that goes back, because you can see here, man, the movie development issues plaguing. This is something that goes back to the very first Star Wars movie, where there was heart attacks, fucking shambolic filming, the edit, the initial edit of the original Star Wars, a shambles. His wife had to step in and fucking save the day. She re-edited the whole movie. It made it what it was. Saved the entire fucking universe of Star Wars as we know it. One edit, maybe numerous edits. So this is something that goes back 40, 50 years with Star Wars. It's been plagued with development issues. It's been plagued with production issues. It's been plagued with actor issues. It's been plagued with script issues. So, and also they keep announcing fucking movies that are not going to happen. They announced an Obi-Wan movie back in the day. Apparently it was going to happen. James Mangold was going to direct it. Get cancelled. We get a TV show. They've announced, obviously, the Solo movie with Lord Miller in. Brilliant directors, producers. They get sacked weeks from the production's end. We get Ron Howard. It's a bit of a Frankenstein's monster. They announce a Boba Fett movies in production. They announce a fucking criminal underworld TV show is going to happen. 100 episodic treatments. Sitting somewhere locked in a vault. Doesn't happen. It's a continuing sort of conveyor belt of shambolic decision making from Lucasfilm. And look, I'm going to admit right now, I'm going to cough. It's the first thing I'm going to do. I'm going to admit right now, I don't really care. I've said it time and again, I want to see Star Wars being explored in the medium of TV now. On Disney Plus, streaming, whatever the fuck you want to do. That's where you explore the stories now. Marvel have done it so well. Star Wars, the best content aside from Rogue One relating to Disney and Star Wars has been in TV. The films have been a disaster, and there's no need to continue going down that disastrous route, potentially fragmenting an already fragmented fan base with Rian Johnson's trilogy, taking the risk of Patty Jenkins giving us another flop of a movie after Wonder Woman 1984. I muted at that time so I didn't blow people's eardrums out. Just not taking risks. With Star Wars, Star Wars is something that's to be cherished. It was something when I was a kid that meant something. It was special. It had an aura about it. You went into a shop and seen Star Wars merchandise, you thought, wow, look at that. And that may have been me being a kid. Now I'm an adult. It doesn't strike the same sort of chord note for me. But it's been greatly diminished with Disney's takeover of Star Wars. The branding, the movies, the mystique is gone. And the only way to really get back to that is to take a long break. Distance yourself from that fucking shit show that was The Rise of Skywalker, The Last Jedi. Solo to an extent, I actually didn't mind it. Not as bad as those movies. Distance yourself from the current crop of movies. 10-year break. And then do it fucking right. We're not going to get that. Taika Waititi's making a fucking movie. It's coming out. That's fine. It's Taika. Could be good. Could be really bad. But I feel like taking a break from the movies is the right direction. So for me, this doesn't actually bother me. I was intrigued by the Squadron, Rogue Squadron concept. Patty Jenkins lived the life, as I did say. It could have been special. But I actually respect them taking a step back and saying, we'll take our time with this. We'll not risk releasing another bad movie. It's like DC, what they did with Batgirl. Not taking unnecessary risks that could further diminish the mystique of the brand, because if you don't have the mystique, you don't have the aura, then it's just another sci-fi fucking movie franchise. 10 a penny. No one's going to go and fucking watch it in the theatres. You need to repair the reputation of Star Wars, and it has to be the right movies coming out. So I don't actually care about them removing this from the schedule, whatever word you want to say. I feel for Patty Jenkins if it's not to be. I don't really feel for Ryan because he's doing his own thing over at Netflix with the Knives Out stuff. And ultimately I think it'll all work out well. I'm hoping for Star Wars. When Kathleen Kennedy finally flees the nest and we perhaps get a Jon Favreau or a Dave Filoni coming in. Real Star Wars fans who understand what it takes to make a Star Wars project, who knew George Lucas on a personal note with Star Wars, worked with him on Star Wars content. I'm not saying Kathleen Kennedy didn't know George Lucas. She fucking was part of the Spielberg, Coppola, Lucas gang through the 70s, 80s producing movies. I'm aware of that, but she's not a Star Wars fan. It's clear as fucking day. And if she is, she's a casual Star Wars fan. She clearly doesn't understand what it takes to make a good Star Wars movie. The proof is in the pudding. We've had many, and they've mostly been shit. Take your time, get someone in that knows what they're fucking doing, 10-year break, give us some great fucking movies. That's what I want to see. Continue the journey on TV, giving us great TV content. I'm moving on though. Talking about things that have been killed and weren't to be, and this saddened me reading this, I'm not going to lie. I'm a huge fan of Mike Flanagan. I think he's one of the very best directors, horror directors in the game. I love Doctor Sleep. I thought it was a brilliant sequel to one of the all-time great horror movies ever made, Stanley Kubrick's The Shining. I really enjoyed Ewan McGregor as young Danny Torrance, an older Danny Torrance, a damaged Danny Torrance. Anybody would have been damaged after living the events of the Overlook Hotel when fucking Jack Nicholson's Jack Torrance, I had to think about it there. All work no play makes Jack a dull boy. It was Jack Torrance. When he was chopping things up and he was losing his fucking mind, if you lived that, you'd be broken. You'd turn to alcohol. And he did. I really enjoyed the movie, man. It didn't do well at the box office though, apparently. And that is the reason why Dick Hallorann's prequel to The Shining, and incidentally, man, you look at the fucking poster. Look at that poster, man. Just finished this Scatman Crawford's Shining sequel poster. Isn't that just fucking great? I'm pretty sure, I've not watched The Shining in quite a bit. I'm pretty sure he was the original caretaker of the hotel. He was the guy, I'm pretty sure he was fucking dead, wasn't he? And his ghost spoke to Jack. Pretty sure that's what happened. Or did he leave at the start? I don't know, but it's a prequel. He would have been overlooking the Overlook Hotel, if you pardon the pun. It's not really a pun, but it kinda is. I just love that. Shine, a Dick O'Halloran story. I'm going to read this. If this is a novel, I'm going to fucking read it. I need to read it. I actually didn't know it existed. I seen this story actually a couple of days ago, and then I read it again, and I thought, fuck, I'm going to speak about this. And as you can see, Mike Flanagan sort of retweet quotes it on Twitter and says this. So we were so close. I'll always regret this didn't happen. Not as much as me, Mike. Getting a trilogy of Shining movies would have been special, because I know there was a lot of issues with Stephen King and Stanley Kubrick. He didn't like the direction Kubrick went with the movie. Wasn't tying in quite as much to the sort of more paranormal. I mean, it was obviously fucking paranormal, but not as much as the book. It sort of deviated from his original stuff he was doing in the story. There was tension between Kubrick and King. Never really did get along. Obviously, King worked closely with Flanagan, and I think he actually worked closely with the Kubrick estate as well. Created Doctor Sleep. It was a more faithful sort of reenactment, adaptation of the sequel to The Shining. I would have loved to have seen faithful adaptations to a prequel, a sequel, and then Kubrick's sort of fucking mental horror heavyweight in the middle. It would have been so fucking cool to see. And look, it looks as though Flanagan was the guy who was going to be helming this movie. A truly brilliant horror director. I keep fucking saying it. He's one of the best for me. He understands it. He's a true aficionado of both King and Kubrick. And I thought he blended the two worlds beautifully in Doctor Sleep. It's a real fucking shame this didn't happen, because on to say, I don't know why I'm looking over there incidentally, I've got the fucking screen right in front of me here. Striker XL says, so why didn't it happen? And he goes on to reply, because of Doctor Sleep's box office performance, Warner Brothers opted not to proceed with it. They control the rights, so that was that. That's a shame. It really is a shame. That feels like a drop ball from Warner Brothers, amongst many drop balls from Warner Brothers over the last 6, 7, 8 years. That was sure to succeed as a movie, I'm absolutely certain. I think most people who watched Doctor Sleep loved it. I think most people with a brain really enjoy The Shining. I just don't see a universe where Flanagan doing a sequel to The Shining doesn't work. And of course, they kind of did something, didn't they, with this guy? I don't know if it was the original actor or a recast in Doctor Sleep, but it was fucking bang on. I'm sure he was like a ghostly thing talking to Danny, and it was magic. It's a real fucking shame, man. I'm sad to hear that they cancelled that because of the box office. I'm not actually aware of the box office figures of Doctor Sleep. I could search it up if I was inclined, and I actually may just do that very briefly here. Doctor Sleep box office, and see what the actual box office was of the budget. $72.3 million box office. That is a bit underwhelming, to be fair, but it is a horror movie, and I can imagine the budget. I mean, it was a $45 million budget, so probably just short of breaking even. It's not a complete disaster. This is a fucking smaller scale indie sort of horror movie. This isn't like a big blockbuster fucking It Chapter 2 horror movie. You were never going to make $1 billion with this. Maybe putting an unfair expectation on that movie, and then rattling Flanagan and Hallorann's knuckles in terms of not giving them the prequel because of it. Yeah, I read it. I was disappointed. Watched Naughty Bees Not to Be though, and it's sadly I can't change it. I'm just a fucking prick from Glasgow. They're not going to listen to me. And by all accounts, Warner Brothers about to be sold in a year's time to Universal, never to be ever again. And that's another story. That's a whole other topic. As much as they have their pitfalls, their shortcomings, to lose that iconic shield, the WB, the opening sort of reel, the intro, that'd be a real loss for cinema. That I don't want to see that happening. Universal are iconic as well, but Warner Brothers are every bit as iconic. We can't be losing Warner Brothers. That would be a travesty. Even though they do make decisions like this I don't fucking agree with. I'm going to end it though with this. Speaking about things I don't agree with. Sony are set to make a new Karate Kid movie. Now, I've not actually watched Cobra Kai. Stephen, fellow movie runner, fellow movie news attendee, host, the usual host, doesn't do a Tuesday. He's watched Cobra Kai, and I know it's a multi-generational thing because my niece, Stephen's my brother-in-law incidentally, if you don't know, my niece, his daughter, loves Cobra Kai, and she loves Karate Kid, and she's only 9, coming up for 10. So this is a multi-generational franchise and TV show. I know he loves Cobra Kai, I know she loves Cobra Kai, I've not yet seen it, I'm going to have to get round to it. I really enjoyed the original Karate Kid. It's one of those era-defining movies, something that just pops out. And I needed it. It's fucking loaded with great movies. The 80s, just iconic movies in there. Commando, Rambo, Predator. I'm going to fling, I mean Halloween was 78, that's not the same era, but there's so many great fucking, the John Hughes movies in there. There's so many great things happening in there. It was a real melting pot for cinema, the 1980s. The Karate Kid, Back to the Future. The Karate Kid jumps out. Terminator, was that the 80s? I think that was 89, right at the end. Karate Kid stands out. It's one of those movies that stands out from the rest. Teen Wolf. I can't even say that with a straight face. I watched Teen Wolf. It wasn't great. Bad either, to be fair, but it certainly wasn't great. But this stands out amongst all those sort of era-defining films from that era. That didn't make sense. Those era-defining films from that era. That's when you know it's time to step off. It's time to fucking end the stream immediately. And I will be in a few GIFs. That's what I'm going to say. Sadly, they're not following Cobra Kai. They're not working with the Cobra Kai creative team. They're not working with your man here, John Hurwitz. He confirmed this. The guys and I would love to make Karate Kid and Cobra Kai movies and hope to someday. But this one isn't from us or focused on the Cobra Kai cast. Don't know much about it, but wish it well. And that was to the news that they're making a new movie, Sony. So this only really confirms to me that it's a reboot. They're rebooting. Because of course it's all the OG players who are involved. Your Ralph Macchios who are involved with Cobra Kai. So if they're not continuing the story of Cobra Kai and Karate Kid, that means that they are not continuing that universe. It's going to be a reboot. We're going to get a new Karate Kid with new characters, new interpretation, and that's a fucking disaster. That simply is not going to work. It should never happen. Sony have lost their fucking minds. We keep speaking about this every couple of weeks. This is going to get redone. Should this be redone? Should we make a Goonies 2? Should there be a Back to the Future reboot? Absolutely no chance. These are era specific movies. They will not pop off in a new decade, a new fucking millennium in this case, with a new cast. You continue what they're doing with Cobra Kai. You make a movie based on that universe with all the OG characters. There is a universe established. People love it. Make a movie based on that. Do not reboot Karate Kid. It will fucking flop. It will never work. Ricardo says, don't care, Disney have screwed me and insulted me over and over and over again. They have managed to kill my joy for Star Wars, and I will not watch anything Star Wars with a Disney name on it. I don't blame you. I can't sit here and say I blame you. Because, I mean, I do enjoy The Mandalorian, I'm not going to lie, but even then, nothing has ever reached the greatness of the original trilogy, and I don't think anything ever will. You speak about Karate Kid being a movie of its era, of its time, and not transitioning over to 2022 or 2016 or 2015 or 2017 when these movies were coming out. Star Wars is the fucking same. It will never be done like Lucas did back in the day with ping pong tables and little fucking ping pong balls and props and actual practical stuff getting done. It just cannot be recreated, sadly. And I hope it can with Andor, because I'm going to watch it. I'm not so switched off and my joy's not completely killed to the point where I'm not going to watch it. I will watch it, but I'm not got confidence it will reach the brilliance of A New Hope or Empire Strikes Back, sadly. But yeah, Karate Kid shouldn't be a new Karate Kid movie. I just wish Stephen was on to speak about this. I'll need to ask him about this tomorrow if we're doing a show tomorrow. I'll need to ask him what his thoughts are on a Sony reboot of Karate Kid. It's a shame he's not in the chat, actually. I'd love to get his thoughts. I can hear it just now. Shouldn't be happening. It's going to flop. What the fuck are they doing? Someone in the chat, can you tell me what they're doing? Because I'm lost. I don't know what they're doing. That's me done though, man. That's what I do know what I'm doing. I'm finishing, because my voice is about to go. And my mind is about to go. What was your thoughts on the topics I've touched upon? What did you make about Andor's first reviews, about Diego Luna confirming he is done with Star Wars after the Andor TV show? Share your thoughts down below about that, about Rogue Squadron not being on the release schedule. It seems as though it's cancelled, potentially. About Doctor Sleep booting a potential Dick Hallorann, I think his name was, Shine prequel, I should say, to The Shining. Firmly right in the balls, killing it stone dead. What's your thoughts on Sony remaking a Karate Kid movie, potentially rebooting it because they're not continuing Cobra Kai's universe? Share your thoughts down below if you've got anything to say about that. Anything at all, can go down below in the comments section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel, hit the bell icon on YouTube to get notifications straight to your eyeballs. Do the same thing over on Twitch. Follow button, notifications button over there for all the same reasons. Regardless of what you do though, thank you for coming in and watching me, and until the next time, I am done. Bye bye.